Hi, my name is Zachary Smith. Welcome to Spotlight. Today we're going to be talking about the Boss EQ-200. If that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around. Okay, the Boss EQ-200. It's a stereo EQ pedal. It's a digital pedal, has 32-bit 96K ins and outs. It has 4 memory slots on the pedal, more if you use MIDI. And it has the ability to run in parallel or series. So you can do some pretty cool stuff with this pedal. At the end of the day, it's an EQ pedal. So it has, some basic functionality, but it does have some advantages because it is a digital pedal. So it has some kind of savable modes and that kind of stuff. Okay, so if we walk you through the pedal first, obviously you have a 10-band EQ here. You can see it goes from 30 Hertz to 12.8K. That can be adjusted in the settings. You can have different points than what are listed on the pedal. But this is kind of the standard guitar range kind of thing. Gonna get most of the things you want done, but if you want a slightly different points, you can adjust that in the settings. There's a couple other modes. It has a level switch here, and it has a channel button, which when you're in parallel mode, like I am right now, it just turns on and off the channels. The memory mode walks you through the memory slots in there. I have the button doing the same thing, just so you can stomp on that and get your saved presets there. Obviously on and off, and that's pretty much it. It's a very simple pedal. It does have stereo ins and outs and an expression controller, so you can do some expression pedal stuff with that. If we click on both of these buttons at the same time, that brings you into the settings menu. So you have the ability to assign what your switches do. You can have them do other things. Right now we have this one on and off, and this one going up through the memory slots. If we go down to lots of other settings to look at, but we'll just skip over to the structure. So right now we have it in parallel mode. If we push this button, we can switch it to series mode, meaning it'll go through one side, and if we're using a mono device, it will go through one side, then go through the other side, and then out in mono. So it is, so you technically have 2 EQs running at the same time, 2 mono 10-band EQs running at the same time when you run them with a mono instruments in series. So that's kind of cool. But we'll switch it back to parallel here. Parallel, and you can see here we have it going from 30 to 12K, which is what's listed there. You can switch it through 32 to 16K if you want to go a little bit higher, and 28 to 14K. So you can kind of widen out your EQ bands. Right now they're kind of as narrow as they would be, and that's what's listed on the pedal here. But we're going to leave them as they are listed. So in manual mode, you have basically you can just move any knob as you would on any EQ pedal. That kind of pretty basic operation. In the saved presets, you can save how those things are saved and how your knobs are saved, but these will but the sliders up here will not be represented in your settings. So if you go to 1, you can see that's my EQ curve on this little image here, but it's not represented with these sliders. So that's one thing to keep in mind when we're going through it. Sometimes these are not actually what's being represented. It's only represented on the screen. Okay, so to give this thing a little demo, my signal chain is, I have a little bit of a looper on the floor that's coming into the EQ-200 in mono. That's going out into the HX Stomp, running a simple Fender Bassman amp there. I have a compressor, a little bit of gain, and a reverb on. I might turn the delay and tremolo on, might not. And that's going out in stereo. There's not really any stereo effects, but it's going out in stereo into the Zoom H5. Today I'm running my 50s Gibson lap steel. And I'll just give you a little bit of a demo of how this thing works in manual mode. We'll start there. It's basic EQ function. So without anything on, this is my clean sound. Okay, so the reverb is actually a stereo spring reverb, so you will hear a little bit of stereo effect there. Pretty clean, basic sound. If we turn the pedal on here, now it's representing this EQ, which is what I have on the sliders. So if you just want a little bit of a thicker mid-range, maybe we'll boost the highs a bit more. So you can see right now you do have 15 dB boost and cut on all of those frequencies, plus you have a level knob here. So you can just boost your level. And I have a compressor at the beginning of my chain, so you can feel how that pushes the compressor when I bump up that gain there. If we were to just show you in manual mode what it does if we switch this to series. Okay, so right now the pedal's on, but we're running through side A, then through side B. If you see what I've done with the first channel, this is channel A, then I might go to channel B, and I might want to just make some adjustments. And so now you have two EQs stacked on top of each other. That gives you a lot of options in terms of what you want to do with those sounds, but so it's pretty cool. You can end up with quite some extreme effects when you're running this pedal in series. I'm going to switch back to parallel, which is basically each channel is running through its own EQ. So because we're running it in mono, we're running it through one EQ. So we'll switch back out of that, and I'll show you kind of some of how this memory thing can work. Say you had a nice EQ set up for your lap steel, but then you want to run a guitar through the same amp, so you pick that up. So that EQ is not working as well. Let's switch to memory 2. That might be a better EQ for me on this guitar. So you can easily have just your memory slots set up for different instruments. You can have them set up for different songs. Pretty useful to have that kind of feature. Especially running this into a modeler or into a pedal board at the beginning can be pretty useful for using just different guitars, different instruments on the same rig. Yeah, so overall, the EQ-200 can do a lot of different things. It is an EQ pedal. It's pretty basic on one level, but because you can run things in series, because you have these memory spots, you can use this pedal in a lot of cool ways. Pros and cons for this thing. Pros, really versatile. I like the savable presets here. I like the little screen readout. I like that there's a lot of different settings you can get into. I think that's pretty cool. I think it has a lot of functionality for somebody who needs an EQ pedal that can do kind of a little extra, can work as a, something to balance out the differences between your guitars or whatever it might be. It's stereo, so it works great with keyboards, with drum machines, anything like that. Could be really cool to have hooked up to a pedal like this. Cons for it, there's not too many things. I do like this pedal, but I wonder if it would have been cool to have some motorized switching here so that when you went through you could actually be in the place that you are. It is hard to see. Sometimes your EQ up here is set one way, but your screen is reading out something completely different. And so that part of it, it's kind of one of the things you have to deal with a pedal that doesn't have motorized knobs or anything. But because the screen is relatively clear, it's easy to see what's going on. I think I can get around that. Overall, I think it's a good pedal. If you need more functionality than the standard Boss, I'm not sure what it's called, EQ pedal that has 7 bands. If you need a little bit more than that, if you want some savable presets, this is kind of a cool way to go. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. My name's Zachary Smith. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel.